I'm not a rock star, just a musician. Welcome in to the Bro 4 Squad podcast, where we are just a bunch of bros drinking beer, talking movies. This is episode 228, and I'm your host, the mayor, Jeff Hornacek. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the movie discussion tonight. Before we dive into it, we got to go around and meet my fellow bros. We begin with our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycli. Ronnie, I recently applied to the Charles Xavier School for the Gifted, and I received a letter back saying that I'm not accepted because, quote, my background check produced some harrowing results, end quote. So, as our lawyer, can I sue? Because, I don't want that to happen.
I mean, we can sue, but come on, man. We all both know your background. And let's be honest here, you're applying for a school of the gifted. That's your first mistake. Apply for their school of the average, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, I looked at the lunch menu there, and I'm just like, nah.
But it's better than the school for below average.
I mean, sometimes you have to have a safety. And for guys like Jeff, it's like, work the safety, you know?
What's the line in Orange County? You didn't even apply to a safety school? You said the word shoe in.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't seem very smart. It's like college guidance counselors, the one who tells them, you are a shoe-in.
Classic movie.
Yeah.
Underrated movie.
Very underrated. I will eat your face. Next, we go in the lab to the mad scientist Brian Banner. Banner, if a face-hugger alien, like the one in Alien Romulus, were to latch itself into my mouth or onto my mouth, scientifically speaking, what should I do to get it the fuck off of me?
To be honest with you, I have no idea because I'm running as fast as I can the opposite direction.
No, but it's already on your face, let's say.
Oh, it's on my face? Oh, I'm just going to make peace with it.
With death?
Yeah.
Then it would slide into first base first, and it would knock the alien off.
Oh, that's true.
That's true.
Thank God there's a softball field nearby. But the base is still on it. I would tell the face hugger, buy me dinner first, dude.
I mean, you don't have to. At least buy me dessert.
That works. That's the more modern day, if you don't have any chemistry, it's good to just do dessert with the face hugger. That way you can go your separate ways after 30 minutes.
Yeah. But it's not like getting a coffee at night where then now you're going to be wired all night,
Oh, yeah. And then you and your roommate are going to have to vent about how bad the date was, how he had nothing in common. He laughed at his own jokes, the face hugger.
So frustrating.
Nothing wrong with laughing at your own joke if it's a good one, okay?
Well, it would help if there was at least somewhat of a chorus of laughter.
Guys, if the USA is so great, why is there a USB?
All right, that's going to conclude our show.
See, I'm laughing at my own joke.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Was it a good one?
It was a good one.
That was a good
one.
It's highbrow humor. You don't get it.
Yeah. You just
would USB be below USA?
It's right. I said, you're starting a second one because USA isn't so good.
Are they trying to say that it's a grade below?
No, we're starting a new one.
Okay.
It's USB.
All right. Well, here on the Bro 4 Squad podcast, we start every episode off with the most important thing in a bro's life, and that is
United States of Bromerica.
That was a good one. We can't just.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt. It just came
to
me.
We're both still laughing at our own jokes. That's what we do here on the Bro 4 Squad.
God, people who have never listened to the show before are like, what the fuck is this? And people who have been listening for a long time are like, God help me. Why am I?
The people who have been listening for a long time are like, kill me now. How am I still alive?
If this show brings me joy, then what do I have left? Well, Chest Day, normally what we start our shows off with. We've been doing this a lot lately just because we're watching a lot of shit. So we're going to bypass Chest Day today and go straight into our protein shake. We'll consider it a recovery day, which is also known as What's in Our Cup or What Have We Watched Lately? Now, Brian, it has been a while since we've had you on pod. I believe Bro 4 Squad Weekend was the last time.
Yeah, I took a little hiatus there for a little bit.
After watching Midsummer, you had to take a break.
Dude, that fucked me up, man. I still am not sure what the fuck that was. And the wife watched it.
Oh,
she watched it. Yes. And
wait, we need this review. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll talk about it in depth
good.
later.
I was I need the deets.
Yeah. As conclusion, I've put it in the same kind of box as the menu. I know good cinematography when I see it, I know great writing when I see it. I know great acting when I see it. I just don't fucking get it.
I could see you watching that with Brooke Banner, and you're like, oh, the whole time since you had seen it, you're like, wait till you see this fucking part. Like,
I did ask her what she thought was going to happen to the bear.
You and the bear was the best part about watching the movie.
I know. I couldn't get over the bear. So I thought the bear was going to play a bigger role.
I wish we had taken better advantage. Maybe if one of you, or Cycling, maybe if you did, tell me. But I wish we had taken better advantage of that the Halloween that it came out, because one of us could have been him in the bear costume.
Oh.
And then our wife could have been the May Queen.
It's such a good. I still feel like it would hit for Halloween. I've seen so many images of people doing that online for Halloween. It's a perfect.
It's one of those costumes. Like the people who recognize it, you immediately know. Like, I want to have a beer and talk with you at this party if you know this reference.
You're just as fucked up as I am. I love you.
But if they see the bear without the May Queen, they just think it's a guy in a bear costume.
Yeah. So that way it works on two levels. You just go off on your own and you're a bear.
Yeah.
It's fine.
You don't look weird. You're just a bear. And then if you're with the May Queen, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
All right, Brian. So let's start with you since you haven't been on in a while. What is in your cup, also known as what have you watched lately? And we can rotate around, but however many things you want to talk about, go for it.
All right. Let's go. I'll start with this. Went to the movies last weekend, maybe, and saw Blink twice.
Oh, I want to see that.
Yeah. I suggest it, but it takes kind of a weird turn, and I don't know if it was a good one. But I suggest it.
When you say turn,
Channing Tatum,
describe it as a twist, because that's what I
No, not at all. There's the twist is still the twist, like it's still there. Just like halfway through, kind of the tone changes a little bit,
right?
And so it goes from like this kind of curious psychological thriller, and then it gets a little comedy-y for me. They throw a little too much humor kind of into the middle of it, almost like, hey, we need something to lighten this. I don't know, to maybe give it a PG-13 rating or something. I don't know. I still liked it. I still thought it was really good. Channing Tatum, him acting as that character was phenomenal. I didn't realize Channing Tatum had some acting chops on him.
I believe the directorial debut of Zoe Kravitz.
Yes, his girlfriend.
Oh, she directed this?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
And yeah, I would say this is a win for her. I'll watch another movie that she directs.
The trailer was like one of my favorite trailers of the year.
Yeah, the trailer was really good. But yeah, I suggest it. I gave it a 7.4 out of 10.
Okay. On the IMDb scale, because it's pretty good on IMDb.
The banner scale.
No, this is on the banner scale.
No.
Yeah.
And the banner scale has no rules, so that doesn't mean anything.
It's like Outback Steakhouse. No rules, just right.
Yeah.
All right, I'm interested to go see this one. I could not convince the wife to go out to theaters for it, so I'll just wait till it's on my library app. I'll watch it there.
Yeah, it'll be there soon.
Nowadays, I can't remember what movie it was. It was one that didn't do well in theaters, but it was literally on digital 2 weeks after its theatrical release.
Wasn't it? What's the one that they changed the name to? It was that one, wasn't it?
It'll come to me like
the Batgirl movie or the
Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey.
No, this is something that came out like within the last month. I can't. Think of it.
Okay.
It'll come to me randomly, and I'll just shout it out while Cycly's talking.
That's fine.
You should.
All right, what else you got, Banner?
All right, I'll do. I know you guys talked about it, so I'll just talk about it briefly. Deadpool and Wolverine, obviously, we all went and saw it together. That? Yeah.
Huh.
You guys were there with me, right?
I blocked that out of my mind.
If you weren't there, then I don't know who I was hanging out with.
I think the post-traumatic stress of the theater, the shit leaking from the ceiling, I blacked out the whole.
That's the most of our review.
No kidding.
The shit coming out
that was so fucking nasty. Oh, I'm gonna gag just thinking about it.
Those viewers at home are like, "What the fuck is happening?" There was a sewage leak at the AMC theaters we went to.
Yeah, we walk out of the movie, and I'm like, I gotta pee. That was 3 hours, and we chugged a bunch of beer beforehand. All the bathrooms are closed because we walk out into the lobby, and there's little sewage coming out of the ceiling, and the smell was
through like 3 floors.
It
like
was
from
so
the top
atrocious.
to the middle to the bottom. It was bad.
It felt like that scene in the. Never mind. And I'm not going to get any more.
No, you got to finish that thought.
So aside from the theater experience being an interesting one, I liked it. I thought it was good. Not as good as the first one, better than the second one. Love the fan service, and I appreciate how they tied it, quote unquote, to the MCU using the TVA. I thought that was clever, and that's about it.
I think Marvel was smart this year. 1 theatrical release instead of 4 like last year. And Kevin Feige stayed true to Deadpool. It was a hard R. And for me, it just did everything I wanted it to do. So even though I love Marvel, I'm glad that we only had 1 movie this year because the oversaturation was becoming a thing. And I think for them to just focus on 1 project, and specifically Deadpool, to get it right, bringing him into the MCU was important that it worked out. And I think it did. Obviously, it did gangbusters at the box office. It set a bunch of R-rated movie records, but I also think the fan reception has been pretty much universally positive. Maybe not like to varying degrees, but most people have at least liked the movie from what I've seen.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was very well done. It stayed true to Deadpool, like you said, the hard R. And I think it was a good way to sum up I think I'm done with Deadpool movies, his solo movies. Love for him to make cameos and fucking everything, if we can. But I think this was a good way to wrap up his solo movies. And let's move on. Like I said, I think the first one is still the best and the strongest. I think this one did enough for me as far as the fan service and how it seamlessly pulled all of these different kind of dead movies together was fantastic. And I feel like the second movie tried to have a little bit more heart, and Deadpool just doesn't really have that.
You can almost argue that this one wasn't really a solo movie, which I think why it worked better than the second one. Because like his shtick is funny, but it can get old after a while. So it's just like that's why I think it played better this time around. The first one was just more original, and that's why having Wolverine at his height, and Jeff and I said on our reviews, the cameos weren't really cameos; they were more like soft roles.
That's true. That's very true.
It didn't feel like it was just almost a solo Deadpool movie, which I think made it better.
Totally agree.
I'll end with this. I love that we finally got to see Channing Tatum as Gambit. That's been like what 20 fucking years in the making. So I'm happy for him that he finally got to do that.
Yeah, he did that promotional photo shoot with the Trank Fantastic Four cast and all the Days of Future Past X-Men cast, and then he's the only one in it that didn't actually get his fucking movie.
Okay, honest question, guys. Do you think you could watch a full movie with that accent?
No.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely
but I also don't know if that's what he actually would have done for his solo movie.
True. But now that he's done it, if he did get his movie, would he have to do that? Like,
maybe they would make some jokes. Somebody would like slap him, and like his voice would be toned down or something. Although I will say, the bachelor party that I went to last weekend, we all kept quoting him before he gets in the big fight. We all kept going, "Woo! I'm about to make a name for myself here."
It's like a perfect line.
Every time we would go to like a new bar, we would, "Woo! I'm about to make a name for myself." So stupid. All right, Banner, you want to pass the baton?
Yeah.
It's likely. How about you? What's in your cup?
I'll speak really briefly about this because it just came out and I've really only scratched the surface with it, but I'm just going to allude to it, and I'm sure I'll talk more about it later in the next few weeks. But Rings of Power Season 2 has just come back on Amazon. Most expensive show in TV history. I don't know if you guys remember.
Do you see the budget? Like, do you feel that budget?
No, I have absolutely no idea how this is the most fucking expensive show. Like,
what the fuck did you spend my money on?
So I said this is what I was saying. Like season 1, I said the same thing. I'm like, What is the money on? Like, what did you spend it on? How is this the most expensive show on TV? Like, or was it Amazon just like so they could sell it with saying like, hey, this is the most expensive show? Because it's insane. There's
It's
better
a tax
quality.
write-off.
Yeah. Like
Are
A24
we
can
at
give me
the
better quality on $10,000 than this.
Are we at the
you know?
point now? This might be a really dumb question. Somebody listening at home was like, "You're a fucking idiot for even asking that." But are we at the point now where practical effects are actually more expensive than CGI?
Maybe I don't know.
Maybe.
Like, I mean, yeah, that's a good question because I really like when I'm watching these kind of things. It doesn't seem like something I haven't seen before. So when you tell me it's
Right.
expensive, I'm like, well, I've seen better production values in things
Did you just like do a shitty job when you were bidding these things out?
and I really think that's probably what Amazon did.
Definitely
This is
could
their
be it.
one thing, right? Like
Yeah.
this is Amazon's thing. Like what else do they have in terms of shows? Like they have other show, but not like big name. Like having IP on Lord of the Rings is huge. So maybe that's what it is.
Is
And
it?
they're what IP on Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
You
I
might
don't
not like it, but yeah.
No, I know.
I feel
It
like what
is.
runs the budget of these things up though is when the production schedules are long and they have to like hold actors and locations and all that.
But
So
no one's even big. I don't. You're
yeah,
gonna get
that's
me
what
on
I'm
a
saying.
tangent.
If a lot of it's CGI and what was it, 2 years in between seasons for this?
Oh yeah. I mean, same as House of the Dragon. They both start at the same time.
Yeah. I'm not saying it's an inexpensive show. I'm just saying I feel like there are very comparable things that are at maybe not a fraction of the budget, but they're definitely dwarfed by
absolutely
by this budget.
I would never say this is a cheap show. Like
for sure.
To call this the most expensive show of all time, like I've seen bigger and better. What I'll say is just again preface it like for those who listen, like Lord of the Rings is. I'm the Lord of the Rings head on the pod. Like they're perfect movies, literally. Like they're incredible achievements of cinema. And you'll hear me talk about them much later in my top 100. And so anytime you touch this IP, it's very sensitive. Like Hobbit is the opposite, right? Like they make 3 movies out of a 300-page kids book, and it's too much. It's like you can't replicate what they did with Lord of the Rings, which is in terms of like director's cut, like almost just like perfect adaptation. But this, I'm trying very hard to take the lore out, like Tolkien's actual story. It's like when you're watching Harry Potter. How many times, Brian, were we like, take the books out of your brain and just enjoy the movie? Right.
So like, how old is Sauron in this? Is he in this?
Prequel. Like this is thousands of years before. Or not that. Okay. Yeah, like this is well before.
I guess I don't know like his lifespan then.
A long time. He's basically an angel. Like he's like a mythical wizard. This is the origin of the rings. So like or before that even how he tricks the and like all it's like a big huge prequel.
He's not the Lord of the Rings yet. He's like a Prince of the Rings.
He hasn't even forged the rings yet. And he's a deceptor. Like he's tricking everyone to believe. The whole point of Lord of the Rings is like he gets everyone to wear these rings that he promises will help them control their people, like the dwarves, the elves, mankind, all these kind of things. And the whole show is about how he's able to, it's building up his deception and his how he builds the one ring in secret that one ring controls all the other rings. So it's like this show
one ring to rule them all.
Yeah. So like that's the slow buildup. That's where we're going here. I mean now season 1 is so far before that. Season 2 is still before that. So anyway, my whole point is like we said with Harry Potter is like I'm trying to just enjoy it for what it is. Because the second you break down the show for being like authentic, it's terrible. Same as season 1. It's like if they can focus on 3 or 4 stories, this would be much better. But they are literally trying to do like 20 things at the same time.
You're not going to get me to even check it out.
Is it one of those shows where like they cut back to another story and you're like, holy shit, I forgot about
that. Absolutely. And it's just like, dude, I would rather go to a restaurant where they have 5 things on the menu than go to Cheesecake Factory.
Yeah.
And this feels like Cheesecake Factory. Is Cheesecake Factory bad? No, I'm not saying the show is bad. I'm just merely stating that I would rather have you do a few things well than a lot of things good.
Yeah. They're the jack of all trades.
Yeah. And that's the problem with this show. I mean, some people who maybe love Lord of the Rings like I do, get into the lore, how they're really like just insulting some of the things Tolkien wrote and the things like that. I can get into that later, but so far that's what the show is. It's just they're saying it's a lot of money and it's too much story.
So last thing I'll ask, I'm assuming that like there are no books this is based on. It's just lore that Tolkien wrote, or
it is Silmarillion. Like there's a bunch. Tolkien wrote a ton of like. He didn't write necessarily just books, right? Like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit. He also wrote
like short stories, right?
Yeah, or he also wrote like textbooks. Like
they're considered like Middle Earth canon.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, I was worried that they were like basically taking a lot of liberties with what he'd already established.
But that's why people are pissed off, because he wrote everything you needed and they're taking liberties. It's like he literally gave you everything. It's not like with Harry Potter, we only have the Harry Potter books. And so when they did the like Fantastic Beasts, like they had liberty, they could do whatever they want. We don't have books. Tolkien did the opposite. He literally went back 1,000 years. And like, so again, I'm not going to get into lore. I turned my brain off. I just want to watch entertaining TV, guys. Like that's it. So I'll keep going. It's not bad TV. Like I said, it's just not worth the most expensive show of all time.
Has it already been renewed for a third season?
But imagine that with the money they're spending, they can't stop now. Like, I feel like it would be pathetic if they canceled it. Like, you just spent $2 billion and you're going to cancel it?
Well, and like you said, I know I joked about it, but like, what other IP do they have that like they can lean on, right?
Do you guys watch Amazon Prime for anything? I'm being honest.
No.
Invincible.
I quit The Boys. I still haven't seen season 2 of Invincible.
It's solid. It's very solid.
It has the worst interface of all the streaming apps.
It is. It's because they try and integrate all the shit to buy and rent and everything.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Like you can't filter it out.
It's not the best.
So what I got out of all of that, for all the young people that come to our pod for inspiration that want to be writers out there, don't be the Cheesecake Factory.
I think that's great.
I think that is fantastic advice. I'm not even like joking about it.
No,
that's why I got it tattooed on my left bicep.
Just now? You got it like
last week.
Oh, okay.
I'm going
in. Guy ready to go.
I'm going in tomorrow for a little touch up.
Just like honestly, I'd rather do like a few things well, like than too much.
For sure.
Yeah.
All right, Jeff.
Okay, I saw the movie, which I've been meaning to see for a while, and I know both you guys actually did a review on this early on in our pod. The Strangers Pray at Night. The sequel to The Strangers.
Obviously, I feel like you're Jim Gaffigan. I just saw Heat.
I want to talk about it now.
Like 10 years.
So the original Strangers is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in my top 100. I think maybe even in my top 50. I think it's the scariest movie I've ever seen in my life. Cycling and I had an incredible theater experience with it. I don't know why, because Cycling and I even did a review, I think, on The Strangers Chapter 1. I don't know why I'd never seen this film. And do you guys remember when you saw it, like what your thoughts were afterwards? Brian, I know you're not as big a fan of the horror genre as we are, but like, were you impressed by it, or was it just kind of another ho-hum horror thriller?
I thought it was as creative as you can, trying to replicate the first one. I didn't think a second one was a good idea. I thought that the location was interesting, I guess, kind of weird. But it was, I don't know. It just, maybe it was because I kind of knew what was coming because of the first one, but this one just kind of, I don't want to say fell on his face, but just didn't have that it factor.
Cycling, do you remember what you thought about it?
I remember it. I agree, but now that I've seen Strangers Chapter 1, I look back almost more fondly on this one. It at least tries to do, it's the same formula, but it tries to do something different. It's different. It does distinguish itself enough from the first one to feel like at least it had a semi-original idea, whereas the newest one was just like almost shot for shot. So yeah, like I agree with Banner though. Did it live up to the first one? Absolutely not. So but I just appreciate that change. Like I really love some of the music choices they made. The 80s. I talked about this during our review. The swimming pool scene was my favorite scene, and I will say I didn't see the ending coming. I did not see them spoilers for 10 seconds. I did not see them killing the strangers.
I didn't either.
I'm sure. Respect that move.
Right. Yeah, I agree with pretty much everything you guys said. I don't know why, and I'll have to dig deeper into this, but the like hardcore Strangers fan community loathes this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really get why. I think there's certainly an element of it that, like, again, slight spoilers for The Strangers Pray at Night, but it is a little bit more premeditated. Their murders in this, like, they do sort of lay a trap for this family to come to the mobile home park, which maybe makes it a little bit just inherently less scary than the first one, where it's like, wow, they just randomly show up at this house with zero reason for what they're doing. Not that there's really motive here, but it's definitely like more planned, which might be a little less scary. But I think the conceit, you still sort of feel the claustrophobia and being trapped because you're in like this mobile home park, but it does allow for a few more creative kills with the strangers. To Cycly's point, I actually thought, of all the horror movies I've seen in like the last 10 years, this was interesting because the family actually like kind of successfully fights back, which you like really rarely see in horror movies. Like, you know, in horror movies, you're always like, grab that thing and fucking hit him with it. Well, in this movie, they actually do that, and it's effective.
Yeah.
Which you hardly ever see. And maybe I was just a sucker and it was playing all the right chords, but the actual family in this who are being victimized, like their relationship dynamics really worked for me. Like I was buying into it. I cared about them. Like I was actually.
I don't quite remember that part of it. It's been a while.
The brother sister felt very sibling-like.
Oh, perfectly. Yeah. And Banner, just as a reminder, basically the point of it, the family is going on a trip to take their daughter, I believe, to like a boarding school. I think she got in like trouble at her high school or got expelled. And the whole time the family is like telling her that they're doing this because they love her. And she's like, I'm a fuck up. You guys hate
That's
me.
right. That's right. I remember.
Which, again, for some people, maybe it felt really melodramatic and like teen angsty. But for me, the family stuff felt real and it worked. So I really like this movie. It doesn't really hold a candle to the first one, but that's not really an indictment because to me, that's, again, the best horror thriller movie I've ever seen. At least the most scared I've ever been. But I really like Strangers Pray at Night. Banner, what else you got?
I don't know. I looked up my notes on The Stranger Pray at Night. I know. I watched that new documentary on the sign stealer.
The Michigan.
The
Michigan thing. Yes.
That was Untold, right?
Yeah, it's called Untold Sign Stealer.
They did Manti Te'o and Johnny Manziel also.
Yes.
They just did a Hope Solo one that actually I have on my list too, so I'll talk about that.
Is it about her and Jeremy Stevens? See how great?
Directly about that, no, but
well, they're married.
He is in it, but it's not really about that.
I thought it was about the incident with her sister.
She like tried to stab him.
They definitely cover it. It's about her. Well, we'll save that. So go ahead, Ben.
It's called Foreplay, Brian.
Sorry, I don't know what that is.
Sorry.
So yeah, this is one. This came out way too fucking soon after the actual incident. This is less than a fucking year after this thing happened. Like Manti Te'o and Johnny Football, all that was what? At least 8, 10, 12 years ago, right? This was 8 months ago. So that's just
it's like, were they producing it while it was happening? Like,
it's like
it's a little wild.
Okay, so as soon as you got caught, did you call Netflix up and be like, hey, I'm gonna tell my story to you guys. How much money are you gonna give me? That's exactly what this feels like. I didn't really follow it that much when it came out last year. I don't know. I guess I was just busy with other shit. So kind of learning what happened was interesting. But this guy, like, he's just so fucking stupid. Like, you clearly were stealing signs. And
he's on the Michigan staff, or was on the Michigan staff?
Yeah, he was on the Michigan staff. And basically what he would do is he would buy tickets to other games and then have his friends go and video them and send the videos to him. So then he can match it up, the signs with the plays. Yeah. So parlay that with what he already gets, which is all the TV coverage, and like the plays that the teams or the footage that the teams exchange. So he has all that, but then he literally goes to another game to study their like just random teams. And funny enough, he wasn't on the staff, but he was doing this 2021. Michigan started getting good. Hey, you're on staff now, 2022. Oh, hey, Michigan's pretty fucking good. Oh, you're on staff, 2023. Oh, Michigan wins the national title. Oh, Harbaugh bolts. Literally,
That's the most telling part to me is that he's
literally
like,
after the day after.
They always do that. Pete Carroll did it. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I don't fault him. Like everybody fucking cheats. Like it's part of the game. Just don't get caught. That's my thing.
Or don't be so fucking obvious.
Yeah. And when you get caught, just be like, yo, yeah, I did it. Like, sorry. This guy is just a big fucking douchebag.
So did this guy just like fucking roll over and be like, yeah, I'll do the documentary, just pay me like $30,000?
I don't know. I didn't look into it, but
is he in jail? Like, is there anything technically illegal about this?
I don't think so. I don't think it's illegal, like legally, right?
I mean,
Cycling's the lawyer.
I mean, wow. Like probably not. Now he could probably get sued for some, like, you know, the NCAA could maybe sue him or something like that, like for some like tort, but
or like a violation of like their competitive.
Yeah, but a criminal law. No, I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe he was trespassing on something. I can't actually.
They'd have to get him with that, right? Yeah, you're not allowed to film at the stadium.
Yeah, like it could be something like that. So maybe crimes did occur, but as a lawyer, I'm like, I don't know what I don't know. So
there was also a picture of him on the sidelines of a game. It was like a Central Michigan game on the opposing team's sideline. Obviously, stealing.
That's on Central Michigan, man. You can't just let fucking random people on your sideline.
Yeah,
like when
yes, I know the exact story.
Yeah, I was gonna say when Bert and I ended up on our rival school sideline. Anyway,
or in the locker room, right?
Yeah, in the locker room. Yeah, when you just act like you know what you're doing, people just believe.
That's true.
Don't ask questions. That's true.
And even better if you have like a clipboard in your hand. Usually, you can get into most places.
Absolutely.
So, Brian, would you recommend this one, or was it just like there's really not much of a story here outside of a guy?
I mean, look, it's pretty fucking obvious that the guy did it. I think so.
Does he try and contest that in the doc?
Yeah, he says he didn't do it. You fucking did it, dude.
You're in the documentary, dude.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Is like I think this is his. I think he went to Netflix. I honestly do. This is what this feels like. He went to Netflix and said, "Hey, I'm going to tell my story. I'll do this documentary for you guys. Again, give me like $25 or whatever." And
a meatball sub, as you always say.
And half a meatball sub, yeah. And they were like, okay. And the whole time, he's just like begging you to believe him. Because he just loves Michigan so much. He grew up a Michigan fan from the day he was born. It's just, come on, dude. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I have so much sympathy for him.
Yeah.
Also, who the fuck cares if he did it or not? Like,
usually the Untolds, I would say, as a general statement, are pretty good. This is probably one of the worst ones I've ever watched.
I'm gonna put on like I said, I don't know if the Untolds are that. I don't like the Johnny Manziel one. I did not rate that highly.
No, I like the Manti Te'o one.
I liked the Manti Te'o one
better. Yeah,
I like the one about the referees that were fixing games.
Yeah, the Donahue one was good.
Yeah.
I heard the Florida Gators one was shitty though.
I heard that was awful. I didn't watch it.
Yeah, I didn't watch it.
People said it was like not worth it at all. It was just Urban Meyer. Like, fuck.
I was gonna say, was it Urban Meyer producer on it?
I think so. Which, like, dude,
like, okay, so you were not gonna get any good stuff.
It's like the Michael Jordan documentary. Like, as much as people like us were dying for that, The Last Dance. It's like, dude, he only agreed to it because he got to approve and disprove like what was said. Like, it was a fluff doc at the end of the day.
Yeah, I hate that shit. God, that Florida team had so many characters, too. The Pounceys, TiVo, Aaron Hernandez, Riley Cooper.
Jeez.
Percy
Harvin. Yeah, Seahawk great. God, what a fucking
I'm a little bitter to that, but yeah.
I mean, fuck him as a Florida Gator.
Was only at that national championship. Feels sick.
Yeah. All right, Cycling, what else you got?
I'll just go right to the Untold Hope solo. I think that's a good transition. Obviously, I will say this, like, I'm a big soccer guy on the pod, and Banner, I know you are too, so I think you'd be interested in this one. Hope Solo, women's soccer, men's soccer, whatever, Hope Solo is a legend. She's one of the, I think she's one of the names that trailblazed across any sports, not just soccer, but just sports and just pop culture in America there in the mid 2010s. She was, Dancing with the Stars. She was everywhere. She was very much like part of American culture.
She did the swimsuit edition.
Yeah, she did. I mean,
I
she
remember
was
that.
a huge name, and there was a lot I didn't know about her going in. Like, I have always known the almost the negative side, right? Like the attitude, the infamous like domestic violence, the DUI, all of that. And some of her comments she would make after like the World Cup or Olympic Games that got her into a lot of trouble. This is a very biased in the sense to Hope Solo. So it starts out by saying, and you kind of feel bad for Hope Solo, that this documentary reached out to almost every fucking American female soccer player. Like Megan Rapinoe, Alex Morgan, Mia Hamm, like Brianna Scaley. Like,
who was
keep
the
going.
forward on Wambach? Did they reach out to Abby Wambach?
Yeah, well, yeah, actually reached out to Wambach. Not one person wanted to participate.
Wow.
None of her teammates. So
That's
this is how the
tough,
documentary starts. And
it says that in the beginning?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They literally
that's more
every
defaming than anything you could say.
single person she played with in the United States national team, and no one agrees. Now there's more to it than that, but like you kind of feel bad for her because of what, and then it starts from her beginning. But again, it is very biased. It's her story, so take that
as told by her.
As told by her. She did have a very difficult childhood. Like it's really kind of.
Was she in like foster care? Am I getting her confused with someone else?
Kind of, yeah. Her father was arrested for kidnapping and he was homeless. Like but she was so young she didn't know her dad was kidnapping her. He took her to Seattle. Like it basically it helps you understand why she had attitude problems. Yeah. Like realistically, and it does recognize how fucking great she was. Like take away the attitude problems is like she was arguably maybe the greatest female goalkeeper of all time, not just American, like worldwide. And anyway, so it goes heavily into her career at the University of Washington. Why she went to the University of Washington? She was actually supposed to go to Virginia. She stayed in her small town. A week before she commits to Virginia, she sees her dad, who had been in jail, who is homeless, just in the woods, watching her play soccer.
Jeez.
And she's like, I think that's my dad. And then because she found him in the woods homeless, she decides to go to the University of Washington, stays home. And then they convert her. She was a forward. I didn't know this. She was a forward. She won 2 state championships, scored all these goals, and University of Washington converts her to a goalie.
I can't believe knowing her that she agreed to that. She has a striker's mentality. That's
she did. But her and they do interview her Washington coaches, and they're like, we told her if you agree to change a goalkeeper, you're going to be one of the greatest goalkeepers of all time. And she's like, I just want to be great. And look what happened. So fast forward, obviously we know her career, gold medals, World Cup champion. There's a famous story of in the 2007 Women's World Cup. She's the starter for 4 or 5 games, and then she gets benched in the semifinals. And he found out that like Abby Wambach and a couple of other players went to the coach and asked her to get benched for Brianna Scurry because Brianna Scurry was retiring, and they were like, "Hey, give her the legend, the 99 goalkeeper, legend." The star, and then USA loses 4-0 in the semifinal.
Yeah, that's not how it works, dude. It's not hand-me-outs.
Yeah, and so the 99ers basically screwed her. She, after the game, gets asked about it. She said, the coach made the wrong decision. I would have made those saves. The team basically shuts her out. She gets kicked off the team for saying shit like that. Like, you realize, something should be kept in the locker room, but she was a woman who did not, you know, she didn't do things.
She didn't hold back.
I'm not saying she's right or wrong. I'm just saying this was cool to see that kind of story.
I love that shit though.
Yeah. Fast forward, she obviously comes back in the national team picture. Blah blah blah. What I will say is I think also negatively, like they kind of do sugarcoat the DUI. They give her perspective on the domestic violence. They do talk about it, and she's just like, "Oh, it was my low point. Oh, I didn't do this." The domestic violence charges to get dropped. She makes it seem like it was completely lied and exaggerated, so that's why the charges get dropped. But the saddest part about the documentary is that she claims, I'm not going to validate it, I don't know because this is biased, that she was the one who discovered that there were such pay indiscrepancies between the men's and the women's team. And that's
discovered?
Why, basically she asked for her contract, and all of a sudden US Soccer started like pushing back against her. And they're like, don't worry about it. You don't like, she just wanted her contract for certain reasons. And she realized she was asking the wrong questions. This is her claim. She claims because of this is how it ended up coming to light, how underpaid the women were, not getting 401ks, not getting maternity leave, not getting any sort of benefits, not getting surgeries covered for sports injuries. And so then she gets kicked off the team for after the Olympics, and she sues, and this is well documented. She sues US Soccer for payment discrimination, all these kind of things. And then the rest of the team, and I remember when this happened, the rest of the team sues US Soccer too, but on their own suit.
On their own.
Hope Solo out.
Yeah, I remember.
And then they win. Yeah, and then they win their suit against US Soccer and for equal pay, quote unquote, because it's not really equal pay.
It's not.
And they win and they leave Hope Solo out. And so
what happened? What was the result of her court case?
She was by herself.
No, but did she win hers?
She settled because she knew she had no choice. And it's like,
but there's a precedent of the exact same thing, like your side winning in court.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter because she wasn't a part of that original law. So there's a whole, like, we're not going down into that, but like, yeah, but basically she was kept out on an island. The women kicked her out and then saw, oh, what she was doing was right, but we're not going to include her in that. We're not going to let her become part of the pot.
Well, yeah, I mean, if they've already been dickheads to her, like, they're just going to keep being dickheads.
When Hope Solo sued, did she try to get any of them to join her lawsuit?
She sued first, and yes, she did, and then she got kicked off the team. And then she claims that US Soccer told all the women on the team that they were not legally allowed to talk to her. Well, I don't know if that was again true. None of that was actually accurate in the sense of like, of course, legally they could talk to her, but they felt like the US Soccer purposely made her feel isolated. And so they decided that they were too, they didn't want to touch Hope Solo because Hope Solo was like too fiery. And then again, she gets arrested for domestic violence and DUI around the same time. So it's like,
yeah, no, it sucks because like that just doesn't help her public image, even though like it's definitely like mutually exclusive from her lawsuit and wanting equal pay.
And she talks about it. She's like, I have myself to blame at when everyone wanted to hate me. She goes, I gave them a reason to hate me, and that's on me. I should have proved them wrong. But again, it's very biased to her. It's very good. I thought this was a very good documentary, but again, it just you never got the other side of the story because no one agreed to be part of it.
But maybe like that silence is deafening, right? Maybe that is the other side of the story.
Yeah. US Soccer obviously didn't agree to it, and no one. Like, they literally had to blur pictures of her next to her teammates.
That's wild.
Wow, that is insane.
Yeah. So it's trippy. But yeah, anyway, sorry. That was Untold Hope Solo.
Brian, what was yours called? Untold the Sign Stealer?
Sign Stealer, yeah.
All right, so Untold, 50% success rate, I would say. With these two.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, especially the way that Cycly sold that. I'm totally in.
If you're a semi-soccer fan and you know Hope Solo, I think it's worth watching. There's a lot of things I did not know, but just take in mind that it's biased.
Yeah,
I guarantee you it's not as biased as the Sign Stealer one.
But again, at least the Hope Solo doc, like, again, they might use it to make this point, drive it home even further. But they're like, look, we can't tell you the other side of the story because they wouldn't fucking come on to say it.
Yeah.
Like, we asked them all.
I mean, she had, and I just looked this up to double check. They didn't talk about this. She had a 0.24 blood alcohol content when she got arrested and she had her children in the car. They don't even talk about that on the documentary. She just says, "Oh, I got arrested." Like they have the video of her getting arrested. She's like, "That was the lowest point." She talks about how it's her own fault. I'm like, that's
Sorry for
really
partying.
bad. That's really bad. You have your kids in your car.
Yeah,
like,
it's
she's not a good person.
That's
She's still
awful.
the GOAT, though. Like, you got to give her props.
sure.
You can have
Yeah,
two things.
look, you can be extremely talented at whatever your craft is and still be a horrible human being.
Yeah.
I'm not saying she's a horrible human being. I'm just using
Yes,
that exaggeration
right.
as a like, just because you're good at something doesn't mean that you're a nice person.
Appreciate the art, not the artist sometimes.
Yeah, see, that's
Sure.
what I said.
Christian Bale, love his movies, would never want to get a fucking beer with him.
Actually, I would. That'd be a
I don't know,
fascinating.
man.
Like, why
not
are
by
you yelling
not
at
by
all
myself.
the staff? Oh, good for you. A Michelob Ultra. Sorry.
Watching my weight, dude.
Yeah, for real. It's hardly got any carbs. All right, I got two things, both animated. I'll run through real quick, and then anything you guys have left, get in. Brian finally finished X-Men 97.
Fuck, dude. Hell yeah.
Now, obviously, all the drama around this with the creator getting kicked off the project. I don't know if you've heard about it. It's bad.
Yeah,
it's getting worse.
Bad. Yeah.
Apparently, he was like sexually harassing the staff, and he literally has an OnlyFans. Where I just saw a tweet. He said, if you pay $10.99 on his OnlyFans, he will tell you the whole story of why he got kicked off X-Men 97. So we'll see. That's a sentence I never thought I'd utter. Let me say this.
I knew he had an OnlyFans, but I did not know that he said that.
Yeah. But this show, so I also rewatched, and this will be in my shower beer blog that I post in a couple days, but I caught all the way up on all of the actual X-Men, the animated series from 1997. And that show really, I don't know if you remember the end of it, Banner, it really like fizzles out at the end. Like a lot of their storylines don't connect anymore. They get away from all the cool villains. Magneto's hardly in the last season at all.
Yeah, they have that weird like relationship thing where Charles Xavier's with that alien chick.
Right, with like the Shi'ar people. Which anytime in the show they go off planet, I'm just like not really interested.
No.
Like, I hate Mojo. He's probably my least favorite villain.
God, those ones are rough.
But X-Men 97 went fucking hard. First off, animation, unbelievable. Looked phenomenal. But
it still had the same style that the X-Men animated show had from the 90s. Like, all they did was just upgrade it, and it looks great. They didn't change anything.
Right. It looked like, when you like take like a drawing that you made with colored pencils, and then you like outline it with marker, and it looks 10 times more badass.
Yep.
That's exactly what they did. Like the color is just like, it's so rich and it like pops.
I think that's another thing is they had better color options. Obviously, digitally you can shade things differently.
100%. Another thing, big advantage for this show, even though they break some of the arcs up into like multiple episodes, they are not beholden to the 21-minute runtime that Fox was. So some of these episodes are as long as like 33 to 38 minutes, I think, and it's necessary to like tell the stories they want to tell. So that helped a lot.
Yeah, it was nice that they could the episode could be as long as it needed to be, or as short as it needed to be.
Also, this show is just fucking intense. Like, it is clearly made for us who are now adults. Like, I cannot imagine showing this to like an 8-year-old and having, they would be like frightened at parts.
Yes, this was dark. This was gritty. Incredible writing from the first episode. The stakes were so high.
Oh yeah.
It was dude, fucking intense.
Honestly,
Magneto scared the fuck out of me at some points.
Dude, so I mean, if you know how the original one series ended, skip ahead 30 seconds for a quick spoiler for X-Men 97. But Charles Xavier is not really in X-Men 97 until like the last 3 episodes, and somehow it works.
Yeah, it worked really good. Well, I mean, they were. If you came back, skip ahead. We're still going to talk about it. Yeah, he was dead essentially, and so. Like they were all dealing with that grief and that fallout of him leaving, and I have to be like Cyclops. I thought his arc was incredible. Like I have to be the leader, and then everything with the clone and all that shit with Mr. Sinister was fucking insane.
I would say surprisingly, Cyclops is the star of this. Wolverine really doesn't get much narrative screen time. Like he doesn't really have much to do, to be honest.
And I was fine with it, honestly.
It worked. Rogue has a lot going on. Obviously, Gambit. I won't spoil what happens with his character and some of the others, but he has I mean, I don't know. It was just, it hit really hard, and I'm glad I rewatched the actual series from 97 before this, because I think this does pretty much pick up like right where that left off. And I think we're getting to season 2, right? Even though obviously the showrunner isn't coming back.
Yeah, they greenlit, I think, 2 and 3.
Wow.
But I think with them firing the showrunner, he has claimed that season 2 was completely wrote, and season 3 was almost complete. But obviously, in light of recent events and everything, who knows what's going to happen.
Yeah.
I believe we will get another season. I just don't know when we will. And obviously, they'll probably have to change the entire storyline to avoid him getting writing credits or anything.
Yeah. But Marvel Animation is just crushing it. I loved What If. Loved this. I'm excited for Marvel Zombies and that Peter Parker freshman year show. That looks really good.
Yeah. Super excited for all those.
So tip of the cap. Last thing I'm actually not going to talk about. I'm going to put it in my shower beer blog because it's really closely connected to 2 other things I watched. So I'm done.
Tease it.
I watched the 3-part movie series. Each one's an hour and a half. DC Crisis on Infinite Earths on Max.
Okay, we'll talk later.
Did you watch it?
No, but I've been eye fucking the shit out of it for a while.
I'm playing footsie under the table.
Yeah.
All right, I'm done. You guys got anything else?
Well, I need Banner to talk about Midsummer, so.
Oh yeah, that'd be what to close us out with.
All right. Yeah, I mean, again, like I kind of said at the top, I don't know. I mean, I get it. It's a cult movie, but maybe I just don't get cults because it's just like The Menu. Great writing, great acting. The way it was shot was phenomenal. I just don't get it. Like, I don't know. This wasn't.
But tell us about the wife. What does she think though?
She liked it.
Did you watch it with her?
No, so okay. I was. You haven't
gotten a chance to watch it with the sound and like.
No, I still haven't watched it. Yeah, I still haven't watched it with the sound or anything. So, there was some of like the stuff that you guys would explain during the commentary, like with the colors and stuff like that I had to explain to her, or like afterwards when we talked about it, like the yellow was like always death or something like that, or death unwilling, and then blue was something else.
Dude, this is a movie that like I realize how dumb I am when I watch movies compared to like real movie fans when you go online and read about it. Like Ari Aster basically, Cycling, correct me if I'm wrong, but he basically forecasts like the whole movie in like probably the first act.
There's that like what 10 seconds.
There's like a tapestry.
There's a tapestry that shows the whole movie. Like literally, if you pause that frame, the whole movie is told.
But I'm too stupid to realize it. So
I mean, how would anyone? No, there's no one that's not stupid. It's just like, yeah. But she liked it, Banner?
Yeah, she liked it. I think we'll probably go and watch it again together, obviously, because I haven't watched it with sound, so I needed to do that. But yeah, she liked it overall. I think I liked it. Like I said, I just don't know what it was.
Was she ever like? Did she ever say like, "Why did you make me watch that? What the fuck was that?" I was surprised. I'm like,
no. So she's been wanting to watch it.
Okay.
So now that I had seen it, that was just kind of an excuse. Like, oh, I have to watch it now, so we can discuss, and she can know how fucked up my friends are for this being one of their favorite movies.
She already knows
not even
that,
one, multiple of my friends. You and
she knows that.
All 3 of you fucks are sick.
Yeah, I liked it too. I think I actually saw it before Cycling, and I was like, dude, you got to go see this. And he was like, I was planning on it, but now I'll go even earlier.
Yeah.
Because I saw it in the theater alone, with like me and one other guy, and he and I walked out, and we were kind of like, pretty fucked up, huh?
You want to get a beer or something?
Yeah.
I feel like we're together.
Yeah, we need to decompress after that.
It's like you just went through war together.
Yeah.
Like, we're always gonna have this bond. We saw some things out there.
You're the best man at my wedding, actually.
Last thing, Cycling, have you seen Beau is Afraid? Ari Aster's like other next movie?
Yeah.
And it's too much, right? It's like too fucking weird.
It's real. Like, I mean, think about like why I was excited about this, but also why it's so fucking out there is think about the combination of Ari and Joaquin Phoenix. It's like
I can't
too
put
much.
myself through that.
Too much.
Like, who's the voice of reason in the room?
Yeah,
there isn't one.
I'm not saying it's not great. I mean, I think Ari wanted to get away from a little bit of the cult horror. Like, there is still a little. Even if you get away from the cult, there's the family aspect of this one that there is in Hereditary, obviously, and in Midsummer. So it still does involve fucked up family. That's the point of Beau is Afraid. It's not horror though. I think he tried to get away from it just to do something different. But yeah, it's too much. It's too much between the two of them.
Didn't work.
Yeah, that
people
trailer.
love it and people hate it. I don't know. Like it's a lot.
I'll catch his next one. I don't think I can do.
It's a long one.
Yeah, I did see that too. That parrot noise brings us to the last part of our show, our question and answer segment. Do you even lift bruh? And today, the question that we are asking is, taking us back, what are the Bros' top 100 movies of all time? We've been counting these down for about a year and a half now. If you click the link in the description of this podcast, you will find the Google Slides that has our current countdown. Before we get into this, we're all going to do our number 35 movie of all time. Shit is getting serious with this. Like, put the kids to bed, as I said earlier. Before we dive into that, Cycly, as always, how would you describe these top 100 lists to the listeners? Because it's not like a, New York film graduates top 100 list. It has a little bit of a different wrinkle.
Banners is essentially that. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's very pretentious.
Yeah, I'm pretty high brow over here.
Yeah, it is literally your 100 favorite movies. It's not even what you consider the 100 best movies. It is, what are your favorite movies? Like, if you had 100 movies to take on an island with you, what movies are you taking? What movies are you watching the most? What movies do something, bring you make you the happiest? What movies take you away from real life? It can be anything you want it to be, and you don't have to defend it. And it can be something ridiculous, a la Banner, or it could be something more dignified, like my movies. So that's what this is.
Well, I can promise you don't have to read any subtitles in my movies.
No,
I'm glad you say that because
highbrow for me.
As we pick up with our number 35 movies of all time, I feel like Cyclies and Banners are perfect microcosms for how unique each of our lists are. Because Cyclies' number 36 movie of all time was Requiem for a Dream. And Banners is Mrs. Doubtfire.
Well, one is a harrowing, fucked up story about family gone bad, and the other one
is Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah, Requiem for a Dream.
One is about rampant heroin use, and the other is Requiem for a Dream. Wait, when does that happen?
Oh, you could not get the allegories going on in Mrs. Doubtfire.
Yeah, it's called subtext. Trying to keep up. All right, Banner, we'll go to you first. What is your number 35 ranking, one ahead of Mrs. Doubtfire?
All right, this movie set the gold standard for a really long time when it came to superhero movies, and that's Spider-Man 2. This movie holds up today. Again, it was the gold standard for years, and the acting was great. Do what?
I said absolutely, yeah.
Oh, yeah. The acting was great. The story progression is great. Easily the strongest movie of the Sam Raimi trilogy. I mean, what more could you say about it? The only other Spider-Man movie, live action one that is better than this is because of this, and that is No Way Home. If we didn't have this movie and this performance, we wouldn't have got that. They wouldn't have even had that option to do. So what this movie did, again, for the genre, which I know it's really fizzled out and been oversaturated here recently, you still have to remember there were some good fucking movies back then, and this is one of them.
The train scene is iconic.
It's the best scene. I mean, it's the best scene. The only other scene that is like straight out of a comic book is in Amazing Spider-Man 2 when Gwen Stacy dies. Other than those are the only two that is literally page to screen, and they did it flawlessly. Absolutely perfect.
I think this one nails too, like the tension in the Peter MJ relationship. It really kind of jumps the shark. I mean, I'm not going to shit on the third one because it's all said to death. It's all true and well deserved. But the Peter MJ stuff in this is incredible. Like that almost works as a separate movie.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I actually, dude, it's been a long time since I watched Spider-Man 2. I think I might have to watch that this weekend.
I watched it not too long ago, and it definitely holds up. The what's his name that plays Doc Ock is phenomenal.
Alfred Molina.
Thank you. He did a fantastic job at being the bad guy that you understand why he's doing it, and you get him. Like you empathize with him. You don't agree with
he
what
doesn't
he's
want to
doing.
do it. Yeah.
He doesn't want to do it, but like you understand. You don't agree, but you get it.
Yeah.
Very, very well done.
It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze. He's doing it to save his wife. Bro.
Sing. All right, Cycly, what is your number 35, one ahead of Requiem for a Dream?
It's Batman and a Robin. No, I'm just kidding. That'd be so funny. Mr. Freeze.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I wish I could have written that up perfectly. But it is a ridiculous comedy. I will say this. I was making fun of Banner for highbrow shit and watching foreign films, and here I am at 35 with Broken Lizard's 2001 film, Super Troopers. One of my favorite comedies ever. I think I have like maybe 5 comedies left on my top 100, maybe a little more. But up there with Dumb and Dumber and Superbad in terms of quotability. Just unbelievable scene after scene after scene that you can just like. Each scene outpaces the next one in terms of, like, again, like being able to quote with your friends and cracks you up. Like, I think this was the first Broken Lizard movie I watched before Beer Fest and a few of their others. And this one,
I love Club Dread too, which I think is really
I
underrated.
do like that one's an underrated one. Like, I actually have always liked their. I've always liked some of their stuff is a little, not great, but. But I mean, overall, I like their humor. I think I talked about Beer Fest earlier, but Super Troopers is just absolutely fantastic, and the sense of the humor is absolutely toilet humor. But at the same time, there's a lot of substance behind it. At the same time, with the rivalry going on with the city cops and them being the highway patrol. I mean, the movie starts.
I think Brian Cox is actually their.
Brian Cox is incredible.
Yeah, he's
the.
How
the fuck did they get Brian Cox in this movie?
Yeah.
The shenanigans scene.
This was even like pre-X-Men Brian Cox, I think.
Yeah. I mean, the movie again, one of the most iconic opening scenes, like with them fucking with the high teenagers getting pulled over. I can't pull over any further.
I can't pull over anymore.
What's funny about that scene is that was the trailer, and it still hits when you watch it. And the film itself is creative. Is it absolutely dumb? Yes, but it's just so fun and fresh. And again, like I said, quotable with your friends. Like, the best thing about some of the comedies, at least that I have ahead of this, are like, again, how much you can relive each scene. When I think about like Superbad, when I think of Dumb and Dumber, this movie is exactly the same, in which every scene has its own identity, right? Like, every scene is like, oh my God, it's this part. Oh shit, hold on, I need to rewind the scene. Like, I cannot wait for this. So, bear fucker. Like, I could do this all day with this movie.
It's for a cop. Why do you tell them that? They make it better.
And people still say that. People say like liter cola. What's a liter cola?
That look like spit to you?
Yeah.
Jumps over the counter.
Like, there's just so much. It's just such a fun movie. It's just, I love this film.
All nimbly bimbly. What does he say about a saucer? Milk from.
It was also
Are you saying meow? Look like a cat to you, son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Dude,
Masasa.
I think the Broken Lizard guys, like, in general, I don't find them that funny, but this was just like lightning in a bottle. I don't know what it was. Like, it's the funniest I've ever found any of these guys, because even Club Dread, which I really like, I like it more as like a slasher movie than an actual comedy movie.
Yeah, that's fair. I do like Beer Fest a lot. Like I think I said.
Yeah,
but,
Beer
like,
Fest
you know,
does have some really good moments. Just in
great
general,
scenes.
when he gets in the vat of beer and tries to drink it all to keep from drowning.
And then he died, and then his twin brother comes up and he's like,
Yeah.
"Hey, let's treat me the same way and call me the same name."
And just call me the same name if you could. Oh, okay.
I don't think technically I've mentioned this on the pod before. I just want to plug it because I think it warrants a watch on Netflix, and maybe Netflix will save the show. But Tacoma FD.
Yeah, you did tell me
It's
about
not technically a Broken Lizard. It's not under their label, but it's like the Broken Lizard guys. It's very well done. And it has way more heart than you expect out of these guys. I really recommend watching Tacoma FD. It's basically The Office at a fire department.
Since I grew up in Tacoma, I'm interested.
Yeah,
it's so fun. I was actually my wife even was like surprised how much she liked it, considering who is behind it. So
now it was originally on like FX or something, right? So it's not like a hard R, is it?
No, it's not, unfortunately. But Netflix, it got canceled. Well, it was and Netflix has it now, and the rumor is Netflix might pick it up if enough people start watching it. Yeah.
Have you ever seen? To me, it's by far their worst movie, The Slammin' Salmon.
I have, yeah.
I
don't think
Kobe
it's
Smulders is in it.
That just
it's
sounds
bad.
awful.
It's pretty bad. I watched it only because Kobe Smulders was in it.
It's not the best, but there's some moments I like as someone who used to be a waiter at a restaurant. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny, but yeah, overall, it is not their best.
Yeah, Brian,
it's not their worst either, though.
Brian, it's like Zevia Cola waiting.
Yes.
Yeah. Stevia sugar version of waiting.
That's rough. Like you're worse than diet.
Yeah. Yeah, the concept is there.
It's not their worst stuff, but yeah, it's not great.
That's a good one. And cycling, I am glad you did mention this too, because at least for me, as we get a little bit closer, I have a run of a lot of comedies coming up. Like when I put this list together, I was like, holy shit, there's not a lot of like dramatic. There's a few, but like it's gonna get heavy comedy for me once we get a little bit further down. So this might be like the calm before the storm.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, Jeff.
Where you at, Jeff? So 34.
My number
35.
Yeah, my number 36 was the Ryan Reynolds classic. Romantic Whodunit, I think is how Cycly described it. Definitely Maybe.
I just watched that, by the way.
Yeah?
I didn't put that in I just was let you know I just watched it for the first time because of you.
Did you predict who the mom was? I did not the first time successfully.
Not necessarily, but also I felt like I'm not going to get into it. But yeah, I had it down to the 2 because that was kind of obvious. But yeah. I think not Amy Adams, what's her name? Oh my God, Amy Adams look alike.
Isla Fisher.
Yeah, Isla Fisher. I always felt like they were plugging her to be the true love, and the fact that they got divorced made me feel like that wasn't it.
Oh, spoilers! Jesus Christ!
Oh, I'm sorry
for that 29-year-old movie. All right, so my number 35 is a movie I've talked about a couple times on pod, and I'm shocked that no one talks about this movie. Obviously, I fucking love it because it's my 35. It's called 10 Years. Now, let me show you or explain to you why this movie is lightning in a bottle. So this movie came out in 2011. It had a budget of $16 million. When I read you the cast list for this movie in 2011, this is the epitome of like buying stock in these guys, right? Like this same cast in 2015 would have been $180 million alone. Okay. Here's the cast for 10 years. Channing Tatum, Justin Long, Oscar Isaac, Chris Pratt, Aubrey Plaza, Anthony Mackie, Rosario Dawson, Ron Livingston.
What? My God.
Yeah. 2011. Isn't that stupid?
Literally like 2013. That's a $100 million cast.
Hits them all right. So this is I would say comedy drama. Definitely plays both very Well, it's called 10 Years because it's about a group of friends on the night of their high school reunion. And the plot synopsis says, the night of their high school reunion, a group of friends realize they still haven't quite grown up in some ways. And I don't use this term often with movies, but to me, this is a perfect combination of funny, beautiful, sad, and just like really poignant. Like it hits all the chords about 10 years after you leave high school. Like, did you become the person you thought you would? And if you did, like, are you happy with that? And if you didn't, why not? It's a great fucking film, man. And all these characters in it. So it starts, they pregame at Chris Pratt's house. And I think the reason I like this movie is it reminds me so much of Our Friend Group. And there's a point, because Banner, this is definitely something you would say. Chris Pratt just had a newborn baby with his wife, Ari Grainer, who's actually, she's been in a ton of stuff. But they're going to their high school reunion, and he starts giving everyone like his child's baby bottles, and he's like, put vodka in these. We can sneak it into the reunion. And Justin Long goes, isn't it open bar? And he goes, who gives a fuck? Like, sneaking alcohol in is the point of this.
Yeah, I don't understand the problem.
Exactly. He's like, we just get liquor there, though. It's like, no, we're sneaking in our own in baby bottles. But Channing Tatum's character is sort of the lead in this. And Oscar Isaac is like one of their best friends. Chris Pratt, Anthony Mackie, Justin Long is like the friend group, which sounds ridiculous to just put that cast together anyway. And Rosario Dawson.
How fun would set be?
Oh my God. Right?
Like, how do you get anything done?
And Rosario Dawson was Channing Tatum's high school sweetheart. And they haven't really spoken since graduation. And you find out throughout the movie why and what the circumstances were. And it's just such a good fucking movie. You're going to laugh. You're going to cry. You can watch it with the wife. She'll fucking love it. Incredible cast. And something that I think is super relatable for everyone. Like, where were you at in your late 20s compared to where you thought you'd be when you were 17 or 18?
Is it streaming on anything?
It's a great question. Let me check it out.
Google is telling me Amazon Prime, but every time Google tells me it's on Amazon
to rent.
Prime, yeah, I go on there and it's like, no, it's not. So don't lie to me.
Or it's like, yeah, I mean, for $3.99. It's like, well, that's not what I meant. Brian, to your text asking about Channing Tatum and Rosario Dawson, no.
Oh, okay.
That's a good guess, though. Cycly, I show it's on Pluto TV.
Dude, don't sleep on Pluto, guys. Don't sleep on Pluto.
But this does say Prime Videos on Real Good, so maybe it is on there. I highly, highly recommend it.
If it is, I'll watch it tonight.
Yeah, and the wife would love it too. Get the tissues ready.
Well, she's not here, so I'm not. Oh, you know, that's her fault for leaving.
You'll cry on your own. You don't need her there for it.
Yeah, I'm man enough to cry by myself.
Yeah, same. 10 Years, highly recommend. All right, before we let the people go for episode 228, Cycly, any closing words of wisdom? Any legal advice?
If you're driving on the highway, left lane is a passing lane, which means you need to be going faster than the people to your right. So do not be driving slowly or equal to anyone to your right.
My Google Maps today finally updated, and now it shows me my speed compared to the speed limit. That's brand new. So
no way it does.
Mine did. I only noticed it this morning, and I use it every day. So now you literally have no excuse, because I know if you're not looking at your speedometer, you're looking at your fucking Google Maps.
I would hope you're watching the road at some point.
What's on the road that I need to see? I've seen a road.
Yeah, what's there?
You've seen one road, you've seen them all.
Seen them all.
Pavement, lines, we get it. Jesus.
Cars, whatever. Pedestrians, dogs.
Dogs?
Skirt!
Banner, I'm guessing you have some similar driving advice for our fans.
Yeah, guys, let's keep it up. Let's pull over for emergency vehicles. I don't know, I may have said this last pod I was on, but I was actually going to pick Thurman up for golf not too long ago, and ambulance was coming through. There was a truck that literally sped out in front of other cars and stopped in the middle of the intersection to block for the ambulance. That's a goddamn hero right there.
Wow.
That is a goddamn American hero.
It's embarrassing that he has to lead block for ambulances.
Yeah, he basically just said, "Nope, I got you guys." So everybody, he shouldn't have to do that. We're thankful that that silver truck did, but he shouldn't have to, guys.
Nope.
Let's just pull over. Let's be respectful. You never know where that emergency vehicle is going. Maybe your house is getting robbed. Maybe your house is on fire. Maybe there's a cat stuck in your tree, so the fire department has to go. You never know. It's an emergency for a reason.
Yeah. I hope Silver Truck guy is listening and he's like, that was me. But, knowing him, he doesn't want recognition.
No,
he does it for the people.
But he deserves the recognition.
I know. It's beautiful.
That's all I got.
Last thing I'll say, guys, back to school. We're in that zone right now. So you're about to get your first haircut of the school year. Let's not be stupid, okay? I recently got a very bad haircut, and I, for the first time in my life, was pretty vocal with the barber.
Was it your normal barber?
It was a different lady, but I was like, you cut my sideburns off, and I didn't ask you to do that. She goes, I tapered them. I go, again, I did not recall asking you to do that. So
good for you. I've never been brave enough to do that.
She goes, well, you can't really see it unless you get up close. I go, okay, good. I'm sure everyone I walk by will have a magnifying glass, and they'll be able to see the sideburns. And I still tipped her like the same normal amount, which I probably shouldn't have done. But I don't know. I'm kind of a sucker for people that work off tips. But, I guess I should have been more vocal with what I wanted. So my advice to you guys out there is speak up about your haircut when you're getting it done, but let's also not get too aggressive. Like everyone just
I feel like leaving your sideburns is standard, and you need to ask to remove sideburns.
I agree. That's why I didn't say anything until she had cut them both off. I was like, you just cut off my sideburns. She was like, no, I tapered them. I was like, that's an incredibly aggressive thing to do to my sideburns without asking me.
Yeah. Look, my sideburns are sacred to me. See, that's why I don't go to the barbershop. I don't go get my haircut.
You got to go to the same person every time. That's
maybe I'm the problem. It's me. I'm the problem. It's me because I haven't found a barber that I'm like, I definitely want you again.
I did.
I have one here. I got lucky.
Oh, maybe I'll just fly down to you every time I need to get my haircut.
Yeah, it seems reasonable.
Seems cost prohibitive.
But you know what? I bet your Cycles barber would never cut your sideburns off.
You definitely wouldn't. He might talk way too emotionally about his personal life. I always thought a barber like you were the one who gets the vent.
Yeah, imagine going to like a therapist or like you and she ends up laying on the couch and like
I love my barber to death, but my barber, like every time I see him, it's just like, woe is me. Life is terrible. Family.
Is he one of those guys where you're like, hey, how's it going? And he goes,
yep,
not so good.
Not great.
It's kind of like a rhetorical question.
Oh boy! Every time I get in the chair, he's like, "Oh God, I gotta tell you, I'm lucky I'm still alive." I'm like, Jesus Christ!
You know what? Though, Cycle, he probably needs you because I bet no one else who comes through to get their haircut, he feels comfortable enough to talk to.
I'm like, hey, don't kill yourself. I don't need to find a new barber, bro.
Yeah, that's
why you shouldn't.
That's why, guys.
What do I have to live for? Well, this $7 tip I'm about to give you.
Yeah, bro. Just don't cut the sideburns off.
For our legal, or taper them, same fucking thing. For our legal counsel, Ronnie Cycley, the mad scientist, Brian Banner, I'm the mayor, Jeff Hornacek. We are the Bro Force Squad podcast. Thank you guys so much for joining us for the movie discussion tonight. You can follow us on Twitter, Threads, and Instagram at Bro Force Squad. We're on Letterboxd, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and YouTube if you type in Bro Force Squad as 3 separate words in everything we've ever posted, and our squad blog is on our website, broforcesquad.com. Till next time, I think we're all just need to go visit Cycles' barber and just talk things out.
You know, Horns, if I zoom in really, really close, I can almost see your sideburns. They are very tapered. They're nice and tapered.
The people I see in public will get an inch from my head.
I also zoomed in close enough. I think you have an ear infection. You should go get that checked out.
Oh, no, I know about that. Yeah.
Also, clean your ears after showering. What did the wife think?